Okay.
Yes, sir. I am Samanya Sarkar. I am here as a volunteer to organize this session. It has been instructed to start from 1:30. So, sir, we'll wait for 4 minutes. Then I'll introduce.
Yeah, sure,
And
sure, sure, Saman, bhai, no problem.
okay, thank you, sir.
Dr. Misra, good afternoon.
हाँ नमस्कार सर।
Good
Namaskar,
afternoon,
namaskar.
Dr. Ramesh.
अरे चौबे जी भी आए हैं क्या?
Yes. Good afternoon, मिश्रा जी। बुलाया है तभी तो आया है।
और वरुण जी कहाँ है?
वरुण जी का नेटवर्क
अरे
वीक है।
नमस्कार
अरे नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार नमस्कार my side there is some network issue so
अरे भाई थोड़ा
my
अपना,
video is off.
अरे एक बार शक्ल दिखा दे यार, कितने साल, 15-20 साल हो गए।
अरे है भाई मिश्रा जी। और बताइए, नमस्कार सब लोगों को।
हाँ ये are you able to see me?
चलो अब ऑफ कर सकते हैं क्योंकि उससे नेटवर्क थोड़ा स्लो हो जाता है।
Okay.
ठीक है।
आंग पर
Yeah. Because data consumption is very high.
बहुत जाएगा ना। Namaskar, I am Purushothaman. I am Professor Purushothaman.
Good afternoon, Professor Purushottam.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Dr. Manoj, good afternoon. How are you?
That is a standby laptop, sir. This I am presenting from a cell phone. That is a standby system, sir.
Okay. So, Dr. Purushottam schedule has been rescheduled, and
Oh, I see. Okay.
probably you are the third presenter, right?
Okay, no problem, sir.
Okay.
I'll only check whether my PPT is being shared, and then I'll.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you all for this session. I am Samanya Sarkar, a research scholar in the Department of Mathematics in NIT Jamshedpur. I like to thank our teachers for giving me this opportunity to represent our session chairperson for this event. Dr. Varun Kumar and Dr. Jogendra Kumar are our chairperson for this session. Dr. Varun Kumar is an assistant professor in the Department of Mathematics, Kashi Vidyapith, Varanasi. He has completed his PhD from IIT BHU and MSc in Mathematics from BHU, Varanasi. He received Best Researcher Award in the 11th International Scientist Award on Engineering, Science and Medicine in 2020 Kolkata, India. He has published several research articles in the reputed journals and conferences. Dr. Jogendra Kumar is the Faculty of Mathematics at the DIT University, Dehradun, and have 12 years of experience in teaching. Dr. Jogendra Kumar is the alumni of Varanasi Hindu University, Varanasi. From there, he has completed his master's and PhD. Dr. Jogendra Kumar is very active in academics and research, as he has published many articles in SCI, ESCI, Scopus, WS journals. He also has organized several national and international conferences, workshops, FDPs at the DIT University, some of which are in collaboration with BHU Varanasi and IIT Mumbai. Dr. Jogendra Kumar has been delivered several talks as guest speakers in renowned institutes of the country. He also been chaired many sessions of national and international conferences. Now I kindly request Dr. Varun Kumar and Dr. Jogendra Kumar to chair this session. Handing over to Dr. Varun Kumar and Dr. Jogendra Kumar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Samanvay, for such a nice introduction. Uh, so first of all, we call Suresh Kumar Chaube. The title of his presentation is on closed week RAD supplemented modules from NIT Sikkim. Dr. Suresh Chaube.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Now you share your presentation.
Sir, so
And at the same time, Dr. Varun, we should brief them about the time as well.
Yeah, there are each participant have to get 15 minutes, in which 12 minutes to present the your presentation and 3 minutes for question or question answer. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Now
Sir,
start.
my presentation is visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon to all of you. I am Suresh Kumar Chaube from Department of Mathematics, National Institute of Technology, Sikkim. I am going to present my research work on title on closed week RAD supplemented modules in International Conference CONIAX on recent advances in pure and applied algebra. The outlines of my presentations are introduction, closed week RAD supplemented modules, co-finitely closed week RAD supplemented modules, conclusions, and references. So first, introduction. Throughout this research paper, R will be an associative ring with identity, and all modules are unique unless otherwise stated. Let M be an R module. The notion N contained in M means N is a submodule of M, and radical of M indicates the Jacobson radical of M. A submodule S is called small in M, denoted by the symbol if for any submodule T of M, S plus T equal to M implies T equal to M. The intersection of all maximal submodules of M or the sum of all small submodules of M is called radical of M. Let M be an R module and let A be a submodule of M, then a submodule B of M is called radical supplement of A in M if M equal to A plus B and A intersection B contained in radical of B. An R module M is called RAD supplemented in brief form of radical supplemented if every submodule of M has a radical supplement in M. A submodule B of M is called weak RAD supplement of A in M if M equal to A plus B and A intersection B is contained in radical of M. So an R module M is called weak radical supplemented if every submodule of M has a weak radical supplement in M. So for example, the Z module Q is radical supplemented as well as weak red supplemented module but not a supplemented. A module M is called cofinitely weak red supplemented if every submodule n of m with m by n finitely generated has a weak radical supplementing M. An R module M is called extending module or CS module if every submodule of M is essential in a direct summand of M, or equivalently we can say every closed submodule of M is a direct summand of M. A submodule N of M is called an essential submodule if for any non-zero submodule N of M, N intersection N not equal to 0. A closed submodule N of M denoted by this symbol is a submodule which has no proper essential extension in M. So there are some lemmas that we'll use in this work. So lemma first, let N be a submodule of an R module M, then N is essential submodule of M if and only if for any non-zero M of module M, there is R belongs to ring R such that M are not equal to 0 belongs to N. And second lemma, let M be an R module and N be a supplement or radical supplement submodule of M, then N intersection radical of M is equal to radical of N. Now, first closed weak red supplemented module. So first we will define. So definition, a module M is called closed weak red supplemented if for any closed submodule N of M, there is a submodule K of M such that M is equal to K plus M and red K intersection N contained in radical of M. So now we have implications. Hollow module implies radical supplemented module and radical supplementary implies weak red supplemented module. And this implies closed weak red supplemented module, but converse is not true. So clearly any weak red supplemented modules and extending modules are closed weak red supplemented modules. For example, Z over Z is extending, hence it is closed weak radical supplemented, but Z over Z is not weak red supplemented. Since for any n greater than or equal to 2, NZ has no weak red supplementing Z. So there is a proposition, let M be a closed weak red supplemented module, then any direct summand of M is a closed weak red supplemented. So now there is lemma which is used in this work. Let N and L be a submodules of a module M such that N plus N has a weak radical supplement H in M, and N intersection H plus L has a weak radical supplement G in N, then H plus G is a weak radical supplement of L in M. Now proposition, let M equal to M1 plus M2 with each Mj where J equal to 1 to closed weak red supplemented. Suppose that Mi intersection Mj plus L is a closed submodule of Mi and Mj intersection L plus K is closed submodule of Mj where K is a weak red supplement of Mi intersection Mj plus A in Mi I not equal to J for any closed submodule L of M, then M is closed weak red supplemented. There is a one proposition, let M equal to M1 plus M2 with M1 closed weak red supplemented and M2 any R module. Suppose that for any closed submodule N of M, N intersection M1 is closed submodule of M1, then M is closed weak red supplemented if and only if every closed submodule N of M with M2 not contained in N has a weak radical supplement. So next proposition, let M equal to M1 direct sum of M2 with distributive module, then M is closed weak red supplemented if and only if each Mi is closed weak red supplemented. Next proposition, let F such that M2 and be a small epimorphism and N a closed weak red supplemented module. Suppose that every non-zero closed submodule N of M contains kernel F, then M is closed weak red supplemented. So now continue with closed weak red supplemented module. Next proposition, let F such that M to N be epimorphism of modules and L be closed submodule of N. Let us suppose that N is non-singular, then H is equal to F inverse L is a closed submodule of M. Next theorem, let M be a closed weak Resh supplemented module, then any non-singular image of M is also closed weak Resh supplemented. Next lemma that we'll use in this work, let U and K be submodules of M such that K is a weak Resh supplement of a maximal submodule N of M. If K plus U has a weak radical supplement X in M, then U has a weak radical supplement in M. Next theorem, let for any submodule U of M, there is a submodule K of M, which is a weak radical supplement of some maximal submodule of N of M such that K plus U is closed in M, then M is closed weak Resh supplemented if and only if M is weak Resh supplemented. Next, co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented modules. So now we define co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented modules. A module M is called co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented if every closed submodule N of M with M by N finitely generated has a weak radical supplement in M. So a closed submodule K of module M is said to be co-finite closed submodule if the factor module M by K is finitely generated. So another way we can define this co-finitely closed weak radical supplemented module, if every co-finite closed submodule of M has a weak radical supplement in M, then M is called co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented. So there is lemma, let M be an R module and N be a weak Resh supplement of T in M, then cosine L is a weak Resh supplement of T cosine L in M cosine L for every submodule L of T. Theorem, let M be an R module and N be a non-zero semi-hollow closed submodule of M, then M is co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented if and only if M by N is co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented. Next proposition, let M be a co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented module and N be a closed submodule with radical of M contained in N. If radical of M cosine N equal to N, then every co-finite closed submodule of M by N is direct summand of M by N. Next corollary, so let M be a co-finitely closed weak radical supplemented module, then every co-finite closed submodule of M by radical M is a direct summand of M by radical M. Next lemma that will be used in this verse, if F such that M to N is homomorphism and a submodule N of M containing kernel F is a weak radical supplement in M, then F of L is a weak radical supplement in F of M. There is one other proposition. Every homomorphic image of co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented module is a co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented. And now corollary, any factor module of a closed weak Resh supplemented module is a co-finitely closed weak Resh supplemented module. Now conclusion of our work is that in this research work, we have replaced the condition of extending modules which closed submodule is a direct summand by the condition that the closed submodule has a weak radical supplement. So thus we have generalized both extending modules and weak radical supplemented modules to closed weak radical supplemented modules and co-finitely closed weak radical supplemented modules and developed several properties of these modules. And we have followed following references for this research work. These are the references.
Okay. Well, Suresh, you have several times used closed. What is closed?
Yes, sir. Once again, sir, I have not. Yes, sir. Please.
Several times closed submodules. Give an example of a closed submodule.
Sir, if you close submodules means a submodule A of an R module, M is said to be closed in M if A has no proper essential extension in M. For example,
give
if we take Z4, Z4 means element of 0, 1, 2, 3, and it has submodules identity and itself, and with two elements 0 and 2, that is called 2Z by 4Z. This 2Z by 4Z is closed submodule of Z4.
Okay, okay. And there is any other example that gives your closed submodule? Example of closed submodule?
Yes, sir. If we take Z6,
Okay.
then it has four submodules: identity and itself, and two other 0, 3, that is denoted by 3Z by 6Z, and another 2Z by 6Z. These all are also closed submodules: 2Z by 6Z and 3Z by 6Z.
Okay. Okay. There is one more property because all its submodules,
Yes, sir.
every submodule is closed submodule. Okay, very good. Suresh, well, now you stop your presentation. Other participants.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now our next participant is Hani Ben Abdullah. Hani Ben Abdullah. So he is not present here. Now our next participant is Uttam P. Dr. Uttam.
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm just enabling sharing.
Okay, okay. Now you continue, sir. You share your presentation using the link.
Screen with everyone. Is it? It's not coming, you know.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, sorry to interrupt you, sir. After Honey Pen, actually my name is there, no, sir. Lata Devi Puli, number 47.
Devi, after Dr. Purushottam, you may present. Okay.
Okay. Just I want to confirm whether I am in this group or not. That's all.
No, you
Is I am in this group,
okay?
sir? Okay.
Yeah,
Sir.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Respected Chair, Namaskar. Good afternoon to each and everyone who are listening. So our topic is counting 1 to 10 in Tamil, Sumerian and Indus people, Indus Valley people. So the point is, how did ancient people started counting by names and words? I say 1, 2, 3. So these are all ideas and our thoughts on this topic. Say, for example, Sumerian, say Western scholars say Sumerians started writing to keep business accounts with a need to account. So the writing itself started to keep counting, and say Sipa, Duba, Saraku, all these terms relate to, even today we can understand in Tamil. Say this is a cuneiform sign. This is read as Ayya, and the meaning for this is father. This is same both in Sumerian and in Tamil. So this is written as A plus 5 plus A. So the number 5 is used in constructing the word Ayya. So they used a 60 based system, but we look into 1 to 10 in this paper, in this presentation. So in the Sumerian numbers, I had names and the signs. So even they called, they gave numbers to the god. The on is having a value of 60. So 60 is also in Tamil. We have 60 years of cycle in Tamil. So we can also see the numbers in Tamil as Sumerian named it. So for example, min is for 2, that can be seen as fish, mean, kan or I as 2. Olim or oli is a lion with 4 legs. I as 5. I as 5. So we had in Tamil as a certain ancient system of writing the signs in 1, 2, 3, but we don't know how to read it, except that we use the present form of 1, 2, that is 1, 2, like that. So Indus people did have signs, but we don't know how to read them. That it was lost, as it was in the case of Tamil. So initially I prepared for e-poster. This was like, I have collected certain signs and then their phonetic values. And so when we look at the different views, say for example, there is one view that Indus people spoke an earlier form of Dravidian language, and if we accept that, then counting can be done in Tamil. This would be a trivial problem, in the sense very simplest solution. So we would straight away go for it, accepting how they counted. But if we don't accept it, and if we want to examine further, we can collect some of the names that are prevailing all over the world. So presence of numbers with the texts or scripts help us to close in on identifying the language, as we have seen in the case of Sumerian Ayya, father. So number 5 was used in between, sandwiched between A and A. And like that, if we come across the seals in the Indus Valley, we could easily identify, or there will be some headway in that direction. So this study report is preliminary, explorative, subjective. Any student, a scholar, can question this and then investigate further. Particularly, we draw the attention on Kolipaham, Planck Institute supported research which predicted the common roots of Dravidian languages to be about 4,000 years from today. So that was the time that Indus people and Sumerian were on peak. So we could consider these two, Sumerian and Indus languages, as candidates as Dravidian root language. And incidentally, we will be seeing it both spoke Tamil or a Dravidian language. So likewise, Moghabhatiya found a lot of numerical and meteorological signs, and stating that they clearly quantify in certain ways. So that also gives us some clues on deciphering of Indus Valley signs. So she further finds elephant word that could have spread from Indus Valley, Peru, like that. So that also would give us some hope on finding out deciphering. So Nisha Yadav and Mayank Vaishya, they find the Indus geometry with high skills. That is so, then we could expect high level of mathematics, or we could also, rather, our experience is that few of the Indus scripts really could be seen as engineering sketches. So Peterson sees working on metal scripts, metal works, and tries to find out the number system or the weights that they represent, but he fails. But he comes out that the Indus people might have used an octal system of numbers. So the Bengali, I have worked mainly based on Bengali from Gondi community, a leader, a chief priest. He shows a different signs for numbers 8 and 10, as you could see from this. We'll see from that. So he had also interpreted, deciphered some of the seals that I had seen and reinterpreted that. Say, for example, this one, this I have taken it as the third chief priest is here. So moon, Mundu 3 is the number involved in this sign. So there are certain scholars from Tamil-speaking south. So they have attempted using reading the Indus signs, especially with the numbers. Say, for example, here you can see two of such symbols. And another author from Tamil Nadu, he had worked out and he had proposed the both phonetic signs and also number signs based on number of strokes. And I have attempted earlier in the case of Sumerian numbers, so that I have already covered a bit. And this we have seen. This is a classical example from Sumerian. So from Gondi side, this is one interesting, like the elephant word had spread out. And now we have the word Aya. So Aya and Aya were perhaps written in the same way, but read differently by Sumerian. And here we see this is the Indus sign that was read as Aya by Bengali. That Aya seems to be common to both Sumerian, Tamil, Indus people, and Gondi. It means grandmother in Tamil, and in other cases, goddess. So this is very interesting sign that I had shared in the WhatsApp also. There are 5 signs. 4 of the signs have relation to numbers. I will go to this after I complete the first phase of my presentation. I'll take it up in the discussion, because this is another case where numbers are compared. Say gold, dress, and house are 3 measures of wealth. So that is reinterpreted by me. So again, here we have the sign for 3. And this is also possible. There is also possibility that the composition of metals could have been written here. That requires some investigation. Actually, the Peterson work, he failed to find out the relevance between the weights and the numbers. And one Kalyana Raman had found out that it could refer to the composition of metals in the making of oil.
Please conclude your session.
So further, so I have already covered much of these. Another important thing is the numbers could have spread across the world. Say for example, Greek numbers 1 and 2, it remains the Tamil numbers. Say for example, Yenna is 1, Yenya is number 9. So Yen, it refers to number in Tamil. So likewise, Aya we have seen. So and likewise, Brauhui, the As, the number 1 and 6 are almost or same as between them and the Sumerian. So this was the presentation. So the work goes like this. So what I conclude suggests that the presence of numbers in the seals would help us to find out the language that was spoken by the Indus people, or for that matter, even in Sumerian, that would confirm what language the people were speaking. So with this, I conclude. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. There is any question from the participants? Okay, sir, there is a question. Where you use such type of symbols? There is a because we are using Roman numerals in our daily life. Thus, such type of symbol is used in
There's voice breaking down, sir.
my question is there
Voice,
is
you have to
you
repeat.
are you define some symbols that one, that two, and three, and so on. This
Yes,
symbol
yes. Yes,
are
sir.
used in general.
Yes, sir. World across, all over the world, especially we say milk account numbering, say strokes, vertical strokes, 1, 2, 3, like that. Say, for example, I'll show the e-poster that I prepared. If I could, yeah. And so,
Just
My one question is that Varun, that is any mathematics used to transforming these symbols to another? That's
our study, or rather our study relates only to the preliminary. We have not used much, but we have used others' findings and results. So,
finding results, but is there any mathematics behind this?
say for example, the very Western scholars view that the Sumerian started writing because of wanting to keep accounts and counting.
Okay.
And yeah, that is the starting point. And say this, we are going still to the ancient time. And so to really look at it, we have to read the minds of the ancient people when they say, for example, if you critically look at the construction of the word Aya, they have used A plus 5 plus A, say one after another they have placed, and they were the forerunners in place
That's
value
okay. That's okay,
system.
Dr. Purushottam.
Yeah,
That's okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
got
sir.
it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity
now
given. Thank you,
you
sir.
stop
Thank you very much.
Lata Devi Pulli. Our next participant is Lata Devi Pulli.
Okay, sir.
He is there. Okay, now you start
Yes,
your
sir.
presentation.
I'm there. Okay, sir.
Dr. Purushottam, please answer your screen.
You stop sharing.
చిక్కు తొందరమ్మనండి.
Purushottam, you stop your screen sharing.
షేరింగ్ స్క్రీన్ రావట్లా.
చెప్పారు చేయమని.
హలో.
Yeah.
Not close it still.
Dr. Purushottam, please stop your screen sharing. You put your screen sharing in background.
In the left upper corner, Dr. Purushottam, in the left upper corner of your, yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Now, Lata Devi, you now continue to share your
Yes.
presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, are you able to see the screen, sir?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, your
Okay.
presentation is visible. Your screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Okay, okay. Yes, sir. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Lata Devi from Mathematics Department, working as Assistant Professor, Government First Grade College, Yelahanka. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Your voice is audible.
Hello?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can
You are-
present your work. Dr. Lata, please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone, to the respected chair and all. I'm Dr. Lata Devi from Mathematics Department, Government First Grade College, Yelahanka, Bangalore. I have done my PhD under the guidance of Dr. Manjula, Bangalore Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Today, I'm going to present a graph theory topic, that is Talgity of restricted superline graphs of path. And here, this is the abstract. Restricted superline graph. Here I am going to present about the restricted superline graph and the Talgity. So this is my abstract. And in this paper, we discuss the Talgity of RL2 of G when G is isomorphic to Pn and Cn. And here, first we will give the introduction. What is point partition number? Point partition number is introduced by Gary Chatrin of the graph G, and it is defined as, for a graph G, it is a minimum number of subsets into which the point set of G can be partitioned so that the subgraph induced by each subset has a property P, whatever may be the property it may be. So, dual to this concept, like the minimum number of subsets into which the G can be partitioned, dual to this concept, Mr. Paniyappan and Akbar Ali introduced the concept of Talgity, which gives the maximum number. Dual concept means it gives the maximum number. So, the dual concept is maximum number of subsets into which the point set of G can be partitioned such that the subgraph induced by each subset does not have the property P. So, this they represented, that is known as the Talgity, and this number is called the Talgity of the graph G, and they represented it by tau of G. Also, tau of G can be defined as the maximum number of subsets. This is about the Talgity, and now I am going to say what is the restricted superline graph. So, for any, it is a derived graph. For any graph G, we can construct the restricted superline graph of index 2. Here I have taken an example of index 2, RL2 of G. Since it has, I am taking two combinations of the edge sets. Since there are 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, 4C2 is 6. So 6 vertices will be there in RL2 of G. Those are the two element subsets of the edge set of the given graph G. That is, here edges are A, B, C, D. So all possible two element subsets will come as a vertices of the given graph G. So that we are having 6 vertices, and any two vertices in this RL2 of G are adjacent if there exists exactly one edge that is adjacent in one vertex and the other vertex. For example, here AB is adjacent to AC. This vertex AB is a vertex and AC is a vertex. These two are adjacent because in the graph, given graph G, A is adjacent to B, but A is not adjacent to C. Similarly, B is adjacent to A, that means only one pair, but B is not adjacent to C. That is only exactly one pair of vertices are edges are adjacent in the given graph G. That's why AB and AC are adjacent. With the same concept, AB and AD, that means we can get the remaining edges like this. And here AB and CD are not adjacent. Why AB and CD are not adjacent is neither A is adjacent to C nor A is adjacent to D. Similarly, B is not adjacent to C, B is not adjacent to D. That's why AB and CD are not adjacent. Similarly, CD and BD are also not adjacent. Here, BC and BD also the same case it is. So, like this, we construct the restricted superline graph. Next, the restricted superline graph, it is a modification of the superline graph. It is introduced by Bagga and Eitel. So, since the graph LR of G is too dense, the concept of the superline graph was modified by introducing the restriction among the adjacency of the edges. That's why it is named as restricted superline graph and was introduced by my guide and Professor Suryanarayana sir. And the restricted superline graph of index R, RLR of G, is a simple graph whose vertex set consists of all possible R element subsets of the edge set of the given graph G, and any two vertices S and T of RLR of G are adjacent if there exists exactly one pair of edges, one from each of the sets S and one from each of the set T. And already we discussed about the Talgiti. Akbar Ali and Paniyappan sir, they introduced it to the Talgiti concept. Now in this paper, we are studying about the Talgiti of RL2 of Pn and RL2 of Cn. So actually, when we were working out with the restricted superline graph, we observed that each and every vertex lies on the cycles of length 3, 4 and 5. This is what the theorem we have proved actually. For a graph G with at least 4 edges, every vertex of a connected RL2 of G lies on cycles of length 3, 4 and 5. So we observe like each and every vertex is lying on a triangle. So this motivates us to work towards the Talgiti of the graph. So by using that, here we have derived this theorem, like for n greater than or equal to 6, the Talgiti of RL2 of Pn is Talgiti of RL2 of Pn is equal to flooring value of cardinality of V of RL2 of Pn divided by 3. Because here we required 3 vertices, maximum number of cycles we have to take it out from the given graph. Maximum number of cycles is possible only with triangles. That's why with 3 vertices we tried. So it is the flooring value of the number of vertices in RL2 of Pn divided by 3. So it is nothing but n minus 1 into in Pn you will be having n minus 1 edges. So n minus 1 into n minus 2 divided by 6. So first we have taken, let E of Pn is equal to E1, E2. That means it represents E1, E2 and so on. En minus 1 represents the edges of E of Pn. So that the vertex set of RL2 of Pn are given by Vi comma j. Previously in the example I have taken Ei comma Ej, but here it makes complicated if I keep on denoting it as Ei comma Ej. That's why I represented that vertex instead of Ei comma Ej as Vij here. Vij is the vertex in RL2 of G, where the corresponding I comma j are the edges of the given graph G. So Vi comma j, where I and j lies between 1 and n minus 1 because I am taking the path. So that cardinality of V of RL2 of G is n minus 1 into n minus 2 by 2. So by division algorithm, n is equal to 60 plus r, where 0 is less than or equal to r less than or equal to 5. Here we observed that, like while proving the result, we observed that we got the symmetry. Otherwise we got the grouping when n is congruent to mod 6. That's why by using division algorithm we have proved this. N is equal to 60 plus 6 under mod 6 we proved. So as RL2 of Pn has isolated vertices, whenever n is less than or equal to 5, this RL2 of Pn is a null graph. That means there are no edges at all. When n is less than or equal to 5, in RL2 of Pn it is a null graph. That's why we consider the case when n is greater than or equal to 6. And when n is greater than or equal to 6, since we have discussed the cases of modulus of 6, we discussed the case of n is congruent to 1, 2, 4, 5, mod 6 and so on. So V of RL2 of G is partitioned into vertex disjoint C3s, where as in the other 2 cases, n is incongruent to 0, 3 mod 6. Okay. Since Talgiti is the maximum number of disjoint cycles into which, so by definition, Talgiti is a maximum number of disjoint cycles into which the vertex set of RL2 of G is partitioned, so that tau of RL2 of Pn must be less than or equal to this n minus 1 into cardinality of VR of RL2 of Pn divided by 3, which is nothing but less than or equal to. Later we will prove that it is greater than or equal to. Hello?
You conclude your session.
Okay, sir. It is almost getting over. Later, we proved that it is greater than or equal to. So already, as I discussed with you, we observe the similarity when n is congruent to mod 6. So we discussed the case in n is congruent to 0 mod 6, 1 mod 6, 2 mod 6, like that. And the basic concept is here we observed that. We observed that K1, 2 union K2 and P4 union K2, P5 union K2, 2K1, 2 and 2K1, 2 union K2 and K1, 2 union 2K2. These are the subgraphs which are creating C3s in RL2 of Pn. That's why we counted the number of distinct K12s union K2 and P4 union K12s and all, and how many are these are forming the triangles. Like that we searched. That means we have done the proof like that, so that we partition the vertex set as SG, SK, SL and SH. And we counted SG is the number of disjoint C3s, SK is like this and SL is like this. And we counted how many number of triangles are there in SG, and we counted how many number of triangles are there in SK. That means cardinality of SK is this much. And even in SL also, how many number of triangles are there. And then we counted the total number of disjoint cyclic subgraphs is equal to the sum of all these, which is nothing but n into n minus 1 by 6. And hence we concluded that the nullity of the restricted superline graph is n minus 1 C2 when n is congruent to 0 mod 1. The same case, the same concept we applied when n is congruent to 1 mod 6, 2 mod 6 and also. And when it's congruent to 5 mod 6 also, same case. That means we have taken the subgraphs which form C3s. So this is about the different cases. And by looking at this, we concluded that RL of Cn is also separate proof was given, but it is also the same. That is n into n minus 1 by 6. And these are my references. Thank you, sir. Any questions?
Any question from the participants? Lata Devi.
Yes, sir.
In a homeomorphic. What do you mean by homeomorphic in graph?
Homomorphic means for any graph, if at all, if you intersect, if you insert a vertex in an edge, then that is said to be the homomorphic to the given graph. Homomorphic edge, we say.
And what is homeomorphism? Homeomorphic topological spaces.
Homomorphism.
No,
Yes,
homeomorphism. Homeomorphic topological spaces.
Topological spaces. Hello.
Okay.
Hello,
well,
sir. I didn't get the question.
Now you stop your presentation. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Now our next participant is. Now stop your presentation, Lata.
Yeah. I stopped, sir. I stopped.
Okay.
I
Thank
stopped
you.
it.
Our next participant is Akif Firoz Tali.
Okay, I'm stopping now.
Now Kalai Selvan R. Our next participant is Kalai Selvan R.
I don't think he is present, Dr. Varun.
Which participant, sir?
Kalai Selvan, or he is not present.
He is not present. No? Okay. So I think all our participants are completed. Only 3 participants are present, and rest 3 are absent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now
And we can recall one more time Honeyben if he is there.
Honeyben,
Honeyben
No.
Abdullah.
he is not present here because
Okay.
all are the
Okay.
in our screen. So Samanvay,
Yes, sir. So,
uh,
I think
all
all,
the-
presenters who are presented here have been done with their presentation, and other participants are not present here, absent.
yeah.
Okay. So we are very grateful that apart from having a busy schedule, you agreed to chair this session. Thank you very much, sir, for your kind support and chairing this session. Um, Thank you.
Thank you, Samanvay. Thank you, organizing team, Dr. Ratnesh Misra, and good afternoon to Dr. Ashok.
Participants, please wait for attendance.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Ashok sir, namaskar.
नमस्ते नमस्ते
नमस्ते सर। हाँ सर।
हाँ नमस्ते नमस्ते और क्या हाल है वरुण
अच्छे हैं सर, आप कैसे हैं?
ठीक है एंजॉय कर रहे हैं कॉन्फ्रेंस का
मनोज क्या हाल है?
सर
रोज
अशोक सर, एक ना थोड़ा सा अपना
हाँ।
चेहरा वो करिए, एक फोटो ले लेते सभी लोग एक साथ है।
अच्छा अच्छा
हाँ, अभिनव एक फोटो ले लो सर, 1 मिनट बस, 1 सेकंड। अभिनव एक फोटो ले लो।
अरे डॉक्टर वरुण ऑन करो कैमरा।
ऑन है सर, माय कैमरा इज ऑन।
नहीं ठीक है, हो गया सर।
ओके
ओके, थैंक यू सर।
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ratnesh, for giving us this opportunity.
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, thank you. Dr. Varun, just have a interactions on phone only, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you for supporting me, and thank you, Dr. Ratnesh. So now I will leave now.